Something that's really, really interesting and important and really is passionate to both of us is about vision. You know, how do you create a vision of your life? We talk about Managing Life 101. Sounds great. If you watched a previous podcast, we talked about the wheel of life or the pie with the 5 sections of life that are important. But how do you really create a vision? You know, I was thinking about that because it was so important. And for me, here's what happened. I knew that I got divorced from my first husband. I was married 21 to 25, all right? Very young. I was not trained to do anything. I never thought about what's my vision, what am I gonna do? You know, I get divorced from that. I start drinking a lot, more than normal, and now all of a sudden I'm really unhappy. But here's the thing, I knew that I wanted to be in sales, okay? I saw that because I had seen what outside salespeople can do. They can make money, they can make their own time, all right? I had a passion for clothing. I loved fashion. At the time, Levi Strauss was the #1 clothing company in the world. I had a friend whose father worked at Levi Strauss & Company. So I thought, hey, could I talk to your dad? She said, sure. I talked to him. He says, I'm not going to help you get a job. What I will do, though, is I will give you the name of someone to call, which he did. He said, that's it. The rest is on your own. So you see, my vision was to how am I going to support myself and what am I going to do? All right. What did I like? I liked fashion. What did I see that intrigued me was outside sales because I had freedom and could make money. So those things together, I took another step, one step at a time, talked to this gentleman. He gave me somebody's name to call. I called them because you've got to do the follow through. When you get an idea, here's the deal. We can think all day long, but unless you get off your butts and actually take action, nothing will happen. So I did, I called them. And you know, I got an interview. And once I got that interview, I called this guy's office 4 months straight, every single week. Because you see, in order to have a vision, you need a goal and you need a game plan. And you've got to have consistency, tenacity, and perseverance. Mm-hmm. So that's really what kind of started me in my work career. All right, and then there's a whole other thing we can go into, which I will, because I want you to talk about yours too, but when I made another change in my life when I decided to get sober, because my life was not going the way. I wasn't managing it, not well at all.
Mm-hmm. I was still in prison when I started to develop my vision for a good life. Mm-hmm. And I was in the library and they had 8-track cassettes of this guy named Tom Hopkins. And I listened to one of his tapes, and it really motivated me. It really kind of energized me. And so I started listening to them every day as part of my new routine. And I developed affirmations for myself. And one of the affirmations was, I'm in the right place at the right time all the time. Yeah. Everyone I meet, I like. They like me. Yeah. I do the most productive thing possible at any given moment. And I own my own business and I'm very successful. And of course, when I wrote that, I'm in prison. I have no business. Yeah. I am not successful yet. But I started to have a vision of what it would be. And I didn't quite know how I was going to get there. I didn't even know where there was. But I started with a vision. Yeah. And I knew I was going to do my basics every day. And then I didn't start to actually put that into practical, real-time application until I got out. Yeah. And I did these odd jobs, really odd jobs, and all legal. Yeah. And good. And I checked the newspapers for jobs, and there was a job in Gardena, California, at Tully Meat Company, selling meat and seafood, and it said earn $475 a week.
That was a lot back then.
That was for me that was wealthy, and so I went down and interviewed with him, And I said, I just want to come right off the bat and tell you that I've been to prison. I'm clean and sober. And at that point, I was now clean and sober 2.5 years. Yeah. And I said, I want to work for you. I want to sell the meat and seafood. And he said to me, wow. He said, you've really changed your life. I said, yeah. He says, what was your best week that you figure during your drug trade? I said, 1 week was like 50 grand. He said, you're hired. He says, I want somebody who knows how to make money. And I just thought, yeah, but I lost all that money too. As fast as I made it, it was gone. Yeah. And but of course I didn't say that, but I'll never forget him saying that to me. Yeah. It gave me some self-worth. It made me feel good, yeah. Even though it made me feel good, period. And I started working for him, and I worked for him for 1.5 years, selling meat and seafood door to door in South Central LA. Yeah. Every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. I mean, that was so good. You know what I love? I love my husband so much. First of all, I love you so much. And what a remarkable story. Now, 39 years ago, you are in prison in Canada for drug smuggling. 39 years ago, I was not sober yet, right? Yeah, I was working for Levi's, but I was not sober yet. So I had already gotten that job because I had that vision of what was I going to do once I was divorced from this first husband, and I wasn't skilled to do anything. I didn't think. But I had the vision of what I wanted to do, and I took the action one step at a time. Now, fast forward to I'm 35 years old, and now my life has fallen apart. Although I still had the job, I had my own home. I drove a 735 BMW.
The Beamer.
The Beamer. Everything looked great on the outside. I was dying on the inside. And you know what happened is in one of my blackouts, because I drank where I would have blackouts, one of them was my taco moment, where I had been, February 14th, 1986, Valentine's Day, the day of love. And I had been down to La Jolla, California, gorgeous place where I was living, and had a liquid lunch with a girlfriend of mine. And I overshot the runway, as I always did. And on my way home, I'm hungry. So I go through a Del Taco. And the next thing I know, it's dark outside. I'm in my car, and I have taco residue all down the front of me. I'm in the Del Taco parking lot. That scared me. And I'd had other blackouts before, but that one really scared me. And what it was like, it's like that for the first time I heard God saying to me, Susan, this is not how I want you to live your life. It's not. So, I immediately went home. Fortunately, I was close. And I called a friend and said, I need to talk to somebody. And she gave me the name of her parents' therapist who I went to. But bottom line is, you see, I had a vision that I wanted a different life. I didn't want to live my life like that anymore. And ultimately, what I really wanted, by this time now, I'd been divorced 10 years. What I really wanted is I wanted a marriage like you and I have. Yeah. I had no way. How am I going to do that? I'm a mess. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to talk to you. I don't know how to really stand up for what I want. I didn't have good self-esteem. And I'll tell you what, if you would have told me I didn't have good self-esteem, I would have thought you were crazy. But the reality is, I decided to get sober. I made again a decision. I started going to AA. I started working with my sponsor. I started working through the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, 12 steps that I call the stairway to heaven here on earth. And what happened was I had to be better and do better if I wanted to become a better woman. I found as I went through this inventory of my life and the behaviors that I had allowed to happen in my life had eroded all of my self-esteem. And what my real malady, as I checked off this little inventory list I was going through, is I lacked self-esteem. So then I allowed things in my life, people in my life, because I didn't feel I was worthy. So I had a vision. I wanted to have a man like you. I had no idea how to do that. So what I did was that I absolutely made it my mission to do esteemable acts. What could I do? And you know what happened? 5 years into sobriety, I met you. I got it.
Yeah, wonderful. Here's what happened with, I'm selling meat and seafood door to door every day. And then I hear, and I'm going to meetings, I'm going to AA meetings every day. I'm going to church sometimes every day. I'm doing all the things that make me better, stronger, and a better man. And I hear that Miller Beer in Compton at Beauchamp Distributing is looking for a salesman. I learned to do the next indicated thing as long as it's good for me.
Good point.
And I went there and interviewed. And I'll never forget that during the interview, I let it off with the fact that I'm sober. I've been to prison. I've been sober now for like 3 years plus. And you know, and I don't drink, and I'm, you know, looking for a job, a real job. And he said, "What are you doing now?" I said, "Well, I'm selling meat and seafood in South Central." And he looked at me, his eyes got as big as silver dollars. And he said, "Really?" And he says, "How long have you been doing that?" And I said, 1.5 years. He said, "You're hired." He says, "You can do that, you can do this all day long." And it was very true. And it wasn't 3 months that I was working there. And he said to me, he says, "I don't know what's up here, but our sales are almost 25% up."
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's because you started working here or something happened in the field. He says, "I don't know what." But they gave me no bars to call on.
Yeah.
They only gave me chain stores and what they call cash and carries, and which would be like, you know, Costco or Walmart or Sam's Club and stuff like that. No bars. I mean, that's how they respected me, is what they did.
Yeah.
And I did not disappoint them. I did my job. I did it. Like if I went out and there was an end cap display and it was low, I went in the back room and got stock, and I replenished it. Yeah. And that may have done some for the sales, I don't know. But I called on every single account. Yep. I sold every single account. I called on all the buyers at the chain stores. I really did the job.
Yeah.
I never slacked off, and I progressed.
I love that, because in that story, as you continue to progress, which was really cool, remember that you talked about the affirmation cards?
Yeah.
And see, I had learned to do these affirmation cards too. This is a really, really good, it's a tip for you to take.
It's a tool even.
It is a tool. It's a tip, it's a tool, it's a technique. It's a 3T. You know how I love alliteration. And so if you get 3x5 or 5x6 index cards, write out affirmations.
Yeah.
And the simple ones like, "Oh, I don't know what to write." I love the simple ones that you did.
Yeah.
Everybody I meet, I like, and they like me.
Yeah.
I'm in the right place at the right time all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, those are simple things. Sometimes we overcomplicate. Many times we overcomplicate when it's really simplistic. But I love that, and you know, how it really led you when you were in prison and you talked about and you had your vision of your life. You owned your own business and you were very successful.
Yeah.
So then tell the story just briefly when you came out of there, and that actually how that came, because you see these things really happen. You do this stuff and visions come true to realities.
I'm calling on all the chain stores. I walk out of a Ralph's Market in Santa Monica, and I looked out the sidewalk. It's blanketed with gum, like carpet bombed with gum. And I just thought, I'm going to get the concession to clean all these sidewalks.
Yeah.
Because I know where the main buying office is, the main corporate office is for Ralph's Market, which is Kroger. And I knew all the other, I called on all the buying offices, and they knew me and I knew them. Yeah. I said, I'm going to get the concession and clean all these sidewalks. And I left there, and I'm on Santa Monica Boulevard, and I see a machine removing the white lines off of Santa Monica Boulevard with high pressure water. I said, that'll do it. I called the 800 number on the side of the machine. The guy said, it's my machine. I said, can you tell me about it? He says, well, it's for sale. He says, I leased it to the construction company. And yeah, it's for sale if you want it. I said, I do want it. I said, I don't have any money really, but I do want it. So maybe we can make a deal.
You had vision.
Anyway, we became friends. He said, I bought this thing as a franchise. He said, if you can get yourself to Orlando, Florida, they will teach you all about this machine. Yeah. And, but you have to get yourself down there. Yeah. And they'll even feed you 2 meals a day. And you'll have to stay at Motel 6 or wherever, or in a tent, you know. And so I got myself down there and I went to this franchise school for training, and it taught me all about the machine and everything it can do. And one of the things it can do is clean new brick. All new brick has to be cleaned and sealed. And during the course of my travels, calling on my accounts, I passed this new brick building being built in North Long Beach, I think on Paramount Boulevard. And I thought, new brick, I'm gonna get the job to clean it. I called the 800 number on the side, on their sign monument, which says, you know, construction company, you know, Ace Construction Company, another project by. Yeah. So I called the 800 number, I said, do you have anybody to clean your new brick? And he says, no. He says, I've been looking. And he said, what do you charge? I said, yeah, what do I charge? And I looked up and it was like $10 per 100 brick or something like that, maybe 1,000 brick. So anyway, I said, so much per 100 brick. And he said, well, that's $750. He says, when can you start? I said, well, I can start for sure in 2 weeks, maybe less. I'll let you know. He said, okay, that works. And I went in and gave notice, and literally a week later, I got that machine and I did that job. It took me 2 days, and I got paid $750. Yep. And that was the first job, which led to me doing that for 25 years. 25 years. And it turned into 5 trucks, 2 big boom trucks that go 60 feet. I cleaned cranes for the rail yard. I ended up doing all the Ralph's Markets, you know. I did all the Wells Fargos in SoCal. I did UCLA Medical Center, Cedars-Sinai.
I mean, it led to things that you could, in your wildest dreams.
Yeah, and you know, to call on the corporate offices of these places, it didn't bother me at all. I mean, I never thought to myself, you know, well, you've been to prison, you can't do that. No. Yeah. I do the most productive thing possible at any given moment. There you go. Everyone I meet, I like, and they like me.
There you go.
You know, I own my own business, and I'm very successful. Yep. And I also went to church, and I went to my AA meetings, and I worked out, and I did all my basics, and I just started building that business. Yep. And it built to the point where we sold it in 2012, and we retired. Yep.
It's so good. Yeah. So let's wrap this up because this is so exciting. I'm getting more visions. We want to throw out a challenge to you to really just take a moment and throw caution to the wind. What is it that you have in your life that you have a vision for? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to think about it. Don't be afraid to verbalize it. It's like throwing darts at a dartboard, because you're going to land on the board. And you know, you keep throwing them, you're going to hit a bullseye. And you're going to have a vision, and then we can even do another one on, we're going to tell you step by step how to do that. So thanks so much. We enjoy talking with you guys always. And Managing Life 101, where if you don't manage it, it's going to come in and manage you.
True.
Bye.